What's going on? Matt Moore here. Got Noah Watry with me. We're talking about the game of life in poker, the lessons I learned on and off the felt. Chapter 5. In the poker game of life, women are the rake. Now, before anyone gets any certain emotion about that, Noah, do you want to talk about that and then
Yeah,
elaborate on the chapter as well?
I'm not singling out women in general and saying that they're the rake. And by what I mean by that is that they're a paid cost to go through life. So the little backstory on it actually details the movie Rounders. Don't know if anyone's seen it or not. It was late '80s. Matt Damon's in it.
Edward
Um,
Norton.
Edward Norton, thank you.
You're welcome, John
He's in it.
Malkovich, right?
Yep, yep. Couple other well-known poker pros are in it. And basically, Edward Norton's character in the book says, "Why do you need a girlfriend around, or why do you need women around?" And in the poker game of life, women are the rake, meaning if you're doing something, they have to be doing something, or for you to go do something, you have to give them money to something. So, in order for you to do something, well, I got to give this up a little bit.
Do you want to
And you know
explain
what?
rake really quick for people watching this?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So people who don't understand what rake is, when you play at a casino, rake is what the casino's take is.
From every
And they
pot
do
played,
that.
right?
Yep.
So you got a
From
pot,
so
all the money's in the middle.
if you're playing poker and everyone's playing a hand, say there's $100 in the middle, they'll take whatever their percentage is, say it's $5 from that. They'll get their cut of every hand being played, every tournament being played, and that's how they make money.
Right.
Same thing as if you're playing craps or blackjack. That the house always wins. So even if we're having fun, we're playing poker and winning, they're gonna get their cut of it too. So they always win as well.
Yeah, they're not going to sit there watch us make all that money, right? Just for hours
Yeah,
and
they're
hours of us
not
making
gonna,
money. Thanks for letting us
they're
hang
not
out
gonna
inside. Yeah.
deal the cards and say, okay, have fun, bye now.
All right,
No,
smooches.
they
Yeah.
take their cut. And I was alluding to in my life, my personal life, when I met a certain woman, she became that rake. Whereas if I did something or I spent something, she made sure she was getting her cut of it too. And that's where I finally mentioned in the book meeting Rose and being with Rose, and then how it was great in the beginning, and then slowly along the way, if we played poker at your house, she had to come with, you know,
Yeah.
or she would start to think, oh, you're good, you're going to win money every single time, and then give me some of that money. When I lost, she didn't understand that.
Right.
Or I'm this guy that had two jobs and had all this money saved up and has all these things. You look at it and say, oh, this guy's rich, he's got his own place. Being 19, 20 years old, I mean, that's like the dream for everyone, right? So she thinks, oh, okay, I got to get some of that or this and that. And it just started leading towards a pretty dark path. And really, all we can do is blame Matt for that because I got her phone number from you. You
Oh
remember?
my gosh, that's so
You
funny.
remember?
I remember now. I remember now.
I
Wow, it's
think
like
it was a party somewhere, and someone
yeah,
mentioned this girl,
yeah,
and I opened my mouth and said, "Oh, okay, let's give her a call." Or yeah, I'll call her.
yeah.
And ended up
Oh man,
texting, and next thing you know, a day or two later, we meet and take off from there. So I
fate.
blame Matt for all of this. Everyone who's read the book, you can blame Matt,
Yeah,
not me. I'm not responsible for my
I'm
actions.
I am not the protagonist in this book. I'm
Yeah,
like that.
it's always an antagonist and a
Oh,
protagonist.
you let him write the forward, and he ruined your life.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
duh.
yeah, it
He
is.
jumps off a cliff. I jump off a cliff twice. But really, at the chapter 6, then it's how things can change in a hurry and how I did not handle stress well, which would become a recurring theme with this woman, and it ultimately led to us making very poor choices. And you name it, we tried it. We would go out and do it. We start partying a little bit more, and I'm not going to get into what we did or anything like that, but we definitely took it to an extreme. And It just ultimately led to me being locked up. And it's important though that I mention that you were the only one to visit me.
Hey, I
So
no,
so he's still there, whether we're together or physically able to see each other or not.
yeah,
He was there.
no, it was a trip, man. It was crazy, like you said. Went through a lot together, and tried to be somewhat not a voice of reason. My ego isn't like that, but try to be there for it, and at least someone to lean on and help through it. So, yeah, it was kind of good to see it come out on the other end of that, and that was the lesson learned. Do you have it for that too? And I think I have it as just saying that again as like a reminder that in the poker
Yeah,
game
but
of
it's
life.
pretty much I have the book in front of me here. I'm just trying to go through it real quick. Um, Actually, it is different. It's basically you do the crime and you do the time.
So for chapter 5.
Chapter 5. We're on chapter 5. I read the wrong chapter lesson.
I got
Sorry,
you. I
everyone.
got you, dog.
Just going a little bit ahead here.
I
You're
wrote the
right.
I
You're
wrote
right.
the
You're
forward,
right.
and then
What
I
we say
wrote the
again, you
rest.
say it again, cut it. We're not going to record differently,
Got
but the lesson was the same as the title, just reiterating that fact. But I just wanted to ask you real quickly one question is
it.
at the beginning of that relationship and going through knowing that it was kind of going a wrong way, what were your thoughts on things? What were you thinking of me and how things were headed? I always wondered that.
I
What was
think
it like as an outsider? Because I mean, I don't know.
I think it's tough because even like we've talked about play style, personality style, like I am passive at the passive aggressive or select. It's like selective aggression, right? Waiting for those moments or having those things, and it is really tough, to feel or to feel like I can interject. It's like I am also as we're best friends or like a brother, and you have those moments. It's not like, okay, these are decisions for him to make. I'm here for if they don't pan out, but also I think it's still the best way to learn, is to
Right.
just go through it. So yeah, I don't, it's really interesting because I don't think we had any like conversations or
Yeah.
arguments about what was going on until maybe it reached like a certain point where it was kind of like,
Yeah.
um but honestly throughout it with any of the other signs, I kind of was always I've always been a little bit more open-minded isn't the right way to say it, but it's almost just like, oh, like I'm like, yeah, like it's your life to live, and you make those choices, and you're aware of the consequences. So I'm not gonna try and like lecture you or be like, hey dude, come on man, there's you're not supposed to do that stuff. It's like, hey man, you're doing it, you're having fun, and maybe I was living vicariously through you at some of that
Hmm.
point too.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
which probably isn't healthy or helpful. Like probably could
Yeah.
probably
Keep doing
could
it. Noah.
probably
Tell me all about it then.
yeah, probably could have, I probably could have been a better voice of reason, which, um, I don't know if you mentioned by name, uh, our other mutual friend who probably was more of a solid rock or wasn't that way, lived more of a clean life.
Dan.
Dan, okay, you say okay,
Yeah. No.
yeah,
No. Yeah. I mentioned him in the book.
because like okay, I was like I thought so. I'm like okay, I just didn't want to be the first one to say it, but yeah, who I think
Yeah.
Dan is more of like a really good, almost you could go to for advice, and that where I was kind of more of, what's the
Sure.
joke about your friend is in your best friend's in jail with you, or like your
Yeah.
yeah your best one's breaking you, or Dan will be posting up
There.
bail,
Done
or
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
want to be with you,
Yep.
although to be fair,
Yep.
I wasn't necessarily in it like that, but where yeah I'm more the kind of like almost just go along for the ride, and then Dan
Yeah.
would be
I
the voice of reason.
understand. Right. I understand. Yeah. That's a good way to kind of touch back on that was just the way we lived and how we learned. So I
Yeah,
learned some hard lessons, but self inflicted. So certainly not going to shirk away from that. But
sure.
that being said, I think that's a wrap on chapter 5.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you for tuning in.